Hi, welcome to Mark and Tracy.
Hey.
Today we're going to talk about momentum and persistence when you're building your business. Stay tuned. Hi, so today we're going to talk about momentum and we're going to talk about persistence and how they are so important when you are building your business, and particularly in the early stages. So I'm going to hand over to Mark.
Thanks, Tracy, and that's right. So I want you to visualize something for me, so just bear with me a second, but I want you to visualize your network marketing business as a huge aeroplane, okay? And I want also for you to visualize your activities, your DMOs and everything you do, sort of as like the thrust that you use, that an airplane uses to go down the runway, okay? Now, if imagine this huge airplane, and it's sat at the very beginning of the runway, okay? Now, this airplane is enormous, okay? And it needs a lot of thrust just to get it to start to move. If you've ever been on a plane or you've ever watched a plane take off, it requires full throttle, and it takes, a little while just for the wheels to slowly start turning, okay? And your network marketing business is very similar. When you very first start, you've got this thing that just seems enormous, and it takes a lot of activity just to build up, to get that first bit of momentum, to get over that first hurdle. You're getting a lot of no's and a lot of rejections and kickbacks and negativity and yada and all that sort of stuff before you get that very first, yes. And it's that huge push just to get the plane moving. But as the plane starts to move faster and faster, then you start building up more momentum, obviously, it gets a little bit easier. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that the vast majority of people make in network marketing, okay, is they put all this activity in. So in other words, full thrust on the airplane, it just starts to move and...
Stop! Oh, it's all too hard. I'm putting in stacks and stacks of effort and nothing's happening. I give in.
So they turn the engines off and the airplane grinds to a halt. So we go all the way back to the beginning of the runway and you think, right, we'll try again. We'll try something different. We'll do this instead of that. Okay? So, full throttle again. And they've got to do all that momentum, all that activity again just to get the airplane to start moving. Full throttle. So they're off again. Do this, do that, and they're going along.
Stop! My mum did some research on the internet, and the business is dodgy, and we won't make any money, so we should stop doing it.
So you stop doing it again. So what happens? The airplane grinds to a halt. So there you go back to the start of the runway, and you think, okay, well, you decide after a few days or whatever, you think, oh no, I'm going to have another go at this. You speak to your upline, you speak to some other people, and you decide, no, I'm going to do this one instead, or I'm going to follow this method instead, or I'm going to ignore my mum or whatever. But the point is that your mum has got into your head and you stopped for a while, okay, before you started again. So third time, it's full throttle time again. So you need to put all that effort, all that energy in just to try to get the airplane to move, just to try to get your business to move, to get the wheels turning, just starting to turn. And they're just starting to turn. You're getting a little, you've had heaps of no's and all rejections and blah, and negativity. But you get a yes, and you think, oh, the wheels have turned slightly, and you're just starting getting a bit more momentum, and...
Stop! I've spoken to 5 people today, and every single one of them said no. Not even an engagement in conversation, don't want to talk to me, they just don't want to know. Just a waste of time.
So you get all dejected and you think, oh, I'm not going to speak to anybody today or tomorrow or the next day. You take it all personally and it knocks you back. and because you've lost that consistency again of talking to people, meeting your 10 a day or your 20 a day or whatever your target was, the plane stops. Oh, the runway,
to the beginning of the runway.
You've run out of runway. You've got to go all the way back to the beginning again. Can you see the pattern? You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. Just picture this airplane. Okay. What happens? It's sitting at the start of the runway, full power, and it takes a whole heap of energy and effort to get this massive plane to start moving. Okay. But with enough sustained, consistent power, the plane begins to build up speed. Okay? And so long as that power has been applied for a sufficient length of time, the aeroplane will have built up enough speed for it to enable it to take off. Okay? And away it goes. Your network marketing business is exactly the same. Okay? It can that early bit where it's right at the beginning of the runway seems like a whole massive amount of effort just to get the thing start moving. Okay? But if you do that, if you consistently apply your daily actions to your business, eventually you'll build up enough speed so your network marketing business will take off. Now, the length of the runway depends on how much action you do. If you speak to 2 or 3 people a day, then you need a very long runway. If you speak to 30 or 40 people a day, then you've got real powerful engines, so you need a much shorter runway. Okay? And of course, once you have taken off and you just like an airplane and you've gained sufficient height, you can back off the throttles because your team's working for you. So you don't need to be frontline recruiting all the time. Yes, you still need a little bit of power, but you can begin to adopt the cruise speed, okay, which is throttle back, just manage, maintain, make sure you're on a straight and level heading, okay. And your network marketing business is the same. Yes, I need to still engage in my daily activity, but not as much as I did when I was right at the start of the runway, okay. So the moral of the story
is you must be persistent, you have to be consistent, and you need that momentum. And sometimes that momentum feels like it's taking forever. People keep saying, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And you're like, but I'm exhausted. But you have to keep going. That's what makes the difference between you and somebody else who gives up at that. My mum told me, it's all too hard, too many people said no, I'm exhausted, all those things. If you give up at that point, you're going back to the beginning of the runway. The people who don't give up at that point and consistently and persistently keep that momentum up, the plane takes off for them. And you watch and look at the people around you whose plane is flying and soaring. They had to do that hard work at the beginning.
That's right.
They didn't just take off and start flying. They had to put that hard work in at the beginning. Exactly. The persistence, being consistent, building massive momentum, because you need a lot to make a plane take off, and you need a lot to make a business take off. But once you've got it, throttle back and enjoy.
Hope you enjoyed today's video. Got any comments, thoughts? Love to hear from them. Just post below, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye for now.
See you later.
Yeah.